everyone, welcome to the next video in this series from Small Victories by Johanna Basford using the Black Widow pencils. We have 3 flower heads here to do on this particular little plant to colour today. There we go. Now I was considering doing this yellow because we've only got the one yellow plant, so I think I'm just going to stick with that idea and go with it. The petals on these are so small that I'm not sure that I can do more than say one colour really, but I'm going to see. I've got the nugget here, that's where I'm going to start. It's a more vibrant yellow, which I think will be good because of the small space. I think what I might try to do is see whether I can fade it a little bit towards the tip. But we need to layer it quite a bit at the base so that we can still put some colour in that tip. It's going to take a little bit of time to get those layers working. So I'm just going to work slowly, petal by petal, building up those layers. All the way around. I hope you're all still enjoying this page. I know it's been a long old series already. We're only just over halfway really, but I've been really enjoying colouring all these florals. So I'm thinking that I ought to try and avoid doing flowers and for a bit after this series because of Johanna's wonderful wildflowers book coming out. I'm going to be doing loads of flowers from there. But on the other hand, I think that's what a lot of us like colouring. So I'm not sure about that idea. It doesn't really look very much darker towards the centre. So I'm going to actually try and find a darker colour. I could go for one of the more orangey yellows, or I could go for one of the more browny bronzes, and that's where my eye's heading. I'm thinking I might use the cardboard, which I've got actually in my browns. There it is. Excuse me. Now I don't know whether it's going to sit on top of that yellow because I have layered it up quite a lot, but I'm going to have a go. So what I want really is a bit of a darker layer just up against the centre. Now I'm not sure that that is showing up or doing very much, but I am going to persevere and do it on all of them. I don't know, I've got a frog all of a sudden. Frog in my throat, that is. Now I'm going to let that be for a minute and look at the centre of the flowers, do those, and then I'll pay a visit back to the petals in my mind to decide whether I think it needs a little more. What I think I'm going to do for the centres is to use a slightly orangey brown light. There's a colour here called Castle, which is where I'm going to start. And if you look, this looks quite brown actually. I don't think it looks that brown on my swatch chart, but I'm just going to do it for the outside edge. Oh no, that is okay. There are quite a few layers just to, and then a sort of lighter layer just inside. So almost like this is a hard to find area and this is a line, sorry, and this is a bit of a blurred bit. So then we can put another colour on top. Hopefully it will sort of blend in. So I want a slightly lighter version of this colour. Maybe the dark tan will work. Oh, there it is. Now I realise I'm using quite a lot of colours per flower, And if you don't have the black widows, you're going to be quite busy converting those colours using my comparison charts. But you could, I always sort of assume that as you get more experienced at colouring and converting, that maybe you get your confidence and you're able to do a little bit more of it on your own rather than using the chart. Because in this particular picture, it definitely isn't about making it an exact match. It is very much about, you know, this is what I've used, try it, see what works for you type of thing. I'm going to use the sunburst on top of those petals. They look a little bit dull, and I'm hoping it will just brighten them a bit. I'm going to put a few layers on top of each. I'm not sure that any of that is actually going down, to be honest. It doesn't look much different to me, but I'm just gonna do it on all of them anyway. And then I've got to think of what to do with these leaves. There we go. So our leaves, I haven't done any leaves on my flowers yet that aren't green, and I'm certainly going to do today's green because I think we need quite, you know, the other options for leaves in my mind are sort of oranges, reds, yellows and browns, and we've got a lot of yellow and brown, so I think a green is going to add a nice big splash of colour, of brightness. So I'm just looking. I'm going to start, I think, with the toxic green, which I think is somewhere around here. There it is. Toxic green used to be a favourite of mine, this, and because this is from the original Black Widow set. Now I'm not going to colour this one in little sections like I did over here. I'm going to colour it all as one thing, but I'm going to fade it along. So this bottom bit is going to be the darkest bit, so I'm going to layer it up quite a lot here and then reduce, and then I'll get another colour. Yes, it was my favourite green in my original Black Widow's spider set, and it got so short I had to start using the other colours. In fact, at one point I started making greens out of blue and yellow, as I showed you in an earlier video, because they were getting so short. And I'm going to use the grub green next. I think it's that one. Yes, there it is. I use this one quite a lot, don't I? It's a good versatile colour. But someone very kindly gifted me some Black Widow pencils, so I now don't use my little short ones anymore. I don't need to. I've got bigger ones, so that's nice. Now the tips of these leaves I think are really bright light green, yellowy green, or just yellow, something like that. I'm just having a little look. Actually I might go for the zombie. It's a good name for a colour, isn't it? Where is it though? Is it that one? No, there it is. Zombie. So it's quite a light, bright, almost perhaps fluorescent green. It's actually much darker than I thought, but it helps to add some brightness to our little picture. There we go. So there's another little mini one done. So well done if you're colouring along and you've got this far. You're doing really well. Hope you're enjoying yourself as much as me. And please come back for another one tomorrow. So thank you for watching and happy colouring.